Hey everybody, it's your girl Nail, and welcome to another episode of Simply Nail's Tiny Studio. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. What is going on in the Tiny Studio today? Well, wouldn't you know it, it's finally wash day. Today is the day that I'm going to spend the evening washing my locks and conditioning them and plaiting them. And then later on tonight, after I do all of that, then I'm going to take this horrible polish to polish off of my nails and get myself a mani and then take care of my feet. So I'm going to do a mani pedi, if not later on this evening, probably sometime tomorrow morning before class. So it's time. It's beyond time. I should have washed my hair a month ago, but I didn't. But I'm going to get that done today. But in the meantime, while I'm here in the tiny studio, there are some things that I wanted to accomplish. And one of those things is my daughter bought me this book called My Mother's Life. Mom, I want to know everything about you. And then the fine print says, give to your mother to fill in with her memories and return to you as a keepsake. So this is my mother's life. I was in my psychotherapy class, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and my professor was talking about going back into your memories, going into your past to discover the building blocks for the type of person that you are today. What were some of the things that happened to you that created who you are? And so she was talking about how there are books that, you can buy for yourself, or you can gift to someone, especially if it's your mother, or you can give it to your father or something like that. And it's a memory book, and they can jot down their memories or the memories of their life. And when this happens, then it's a good thing to sit down and reflect and write out your memories and reflect on your memories, because when you do, it's cathartic. It's very cathartic and very therapeutic, because what happens is you start to sift through some of those moments in your life, and there are going to be things that occurred within your life that would have changed or colored your perception about many different life issues. And sometimes we hold on to certain things based on our age, based on trauma, and based on what happened that colored our perception of a certain issue or topic. And then that permeates the way we live our lives. So when she said that, I told her that my daughter had gifted me this book, My Mother's Life. Mom, I want to know everything about you. And for my birthday, and that I got up to page 19. I got up to page 19. And I made a promise that I was going to work on at least 2 or 3 pages a day. And so I could be able to give it to her, because here I am, it'll be November, and I'm coming up on another birthday, and I've had a whole year to work on this, but I haven't. And one of the reasons why I haven't really got into journaling in this memoir, so to speak, is because I have a lot of memories, and well, we all do, okay? I'm not special. But a lot of the memories that I have, they aren't great ones. And I didn't know my biological father. I met him at a local grocery store when I was 9 years old, and I didn't know who he was, and he just came up to me and started talking to me, and stranger danger. And that changed my whole world, meeting my biological father like that. And when it asks questions about, you know, what were your father's hobbies? What were some things that made your father laugh? Can you tell me about your father's high school? You know, what high school he graduated from? I don't know those things. I don't know those things. So I can only go on. I can say that and then talk about my stepfather and talk about his hobbies and things that he liked and disliked and stuff like that and what school he graduated from. I could go into all of that because, you know, he was in my life. But my biological father was not in my life. And so that causes me to have to sit back and sift through feelings that I've had about not having a relationship with my father. My father's been deceased now for 24 years. He died in 2000. And I got a chance to have a relationship with him or something like it within perhaps the last 6 months of his life. Maybe that's a story that I could, you know, if you would like to hear about that, that's something that I could tell you about. I actually I re-entered, or my father re-entered my life again after that happenstance meeting at the local grocery store in 1976. I met him again when I was 25 years old, and I believe that was in 1994, 93, somewhere in there. And my father had a lot of things going on in his life. He had a lot of demons he had to deal with, and a lot of secrets and lies, and you know, the usual things that human beings that human beings have. And he had a lot of things on his shoulders that he had to deal with. And me popping back into his life, demanding time, demanding recognition, demanding a place in his world was too much for him. And it was also too much for my stepmother and for my siblings, except for my oldest sister. So to really, that's one of the reasons why. And I think the last thing I wrote, yeah, the last thing I wrote about, or the last thing, that question that was very interesting, besides the one, describe your father, what were his hobbies? And I said, I don't know my father's hobbies or interests in that area. My dad didn't, my dad, because I made the difference between father and dad. So my dad, which is my stepfather, I said my dad didn't have any hobbies that I know of. So I get into stuff like that. And then it said, aside from your mother and father, relatives do you remember being around a lot when you were when you were a small child, and what do you remember about them? And that made me go into my memory banks, because of course, you know, I'm thinking about my grandparents, and of course I was around them a great deal, because my mother, she had me when she was 15 years of age, so she was still at home with her parents. So basically her parents became my parents, my grandparents. And there were a lot of people that was in my grandmother's circle of friends and associates that I have memories of, that built helped color my perception about many subjects. And neighbors, kids that was in my grandmother's, that lived in my grandmother's neighborhood in Detroit. And those experiences kind of shaped who I am. My sister and I, we used to spend the weekends with my grandmother and with my grandparents. And during the week we stayed with my parents. And that was one type of existence and one type of life, you know, in the city of Detroit. And then we would go and visit my grandparents, who were, middle class African Americans, Detroiters, entrepreneurs, automobile company employees, and things of that nature. And, my grandparents owned their own home. My grandfather poured the driveway for that home, built the garage, and it was a beautiful middle class neighborhood. And so my experiences on that street, as opposed to my experiences being home with my parents, with my mom and my dad, my stepfather, that neighborhood was a different story. Everyone in that neighborhood was, low income. I was around, a lot of unsavory people. I knew what a drug addict was. I knew I knew what that looked like personally, because, we had neighbors, people we lived in a 2-family flat. So we had neighbors, our upstairs neighbors were, addicted to heroin, and they had 3 kids. And so the kids would be hungry and they would come downstairs and my mom would feed them, and they were so addicted to drugs that I hate to say this, I mean, I hate to laugh about it because it's really not funny, but the dad that lived upstairs, it was a mother, father, and 3 children. The dad went to sleep. Well, he didn't really go. Well, yeah, he nodded off, and with a cigarette in his mouth, and that cigarette started a fire. And our bedroom was underneath their bedroom, so our house caught on fire. So in the middle of the night, my dad, came in, woke us up, me and my sister up, told us to get blankets, and get our, grab one of my brothers who were babies at the time, and my mother grabbed another one, and my dad got us out of there. The house was on fire. So that was the experience I had. That happened, I want to say I was 14. Yeah, I was about 14, 15 years old when the house caught on fire. So, just really sitting back and thinking about life and thinking about, I think the difficult part about writing about in this book and giving it back to my daughter is I'm struggling with how much I want to tell. How much of my story do I want to tell my daughter? And how much of it will I be telling myself? Because I've written about my life before. I've written about different aspects of my life in short story form. And I've been doing that for years. But I have yet to put everything together, and the reason why is because a lot of things that I talk about in my short stories and about my life in fiction form, people might know who I'm talking about, which is okay because it'll be fictitious, and I as a writer, I'm not I might drop a crumb or two, and you may say, oh, I know who that is, but it'll be too many other things going on for people who were close to the story to know it's about them. But most importantly, that's what I'm struggling with. How much of my life do I want to open up to my daughter? How much of my life in my world do I want to confide in her and reveal? And maybe this would be great, or something that would be, help strengthen our relationship as mother and daughter. My daughter just turned 37. My oldest daughter turned 37. So, and maybe telling my experiences and letting her know about certain things that's happened in my life. Maybe it will be of some benefit to her and some benefit to the tiny studio assistant. Maybe it'll be, it'll help them learn more about me and why mom moves the way she does. So that's what I'm going to be working on today. And also the tiny studio guest, I just picked her up from her job outside of the tiny studio, and I told her when she get up, we were going to, if she wanted to, we could go over the ballot. Yes, I received my ballot from the Hillsborough County Supervisor of Elections. I received my ballot for the 2024 general election. Here it is. So I am going to be getting ready to fill this out and mailing it back in, or dropping it. I don't know why I keep showing my nails. My nails are horrible. They're horrible, but I didn't want to use that as an excuse to not come into the tiny studio and hang out with you guys today. So, I mean, it'll get done. It's going to get done. So the next time you see me, my hair be plaited up and my nails will be done, It is what it is. Because I've been so busy, decorating the house for the fall, winter season, cleaning, storage, putting things in storage. Getting organized, getting my husband's things organized for the fall, winter season. And that's a lot of work, and it's a lot of stress. And I just didn't have the time. Plus, I'm in grad school, so I really didn't have the time to look at my nails. And I, with the storm and everything, I really didn't feel like going, child, there was no way I was going to be able to go to the salon to get them done, because, some people, some businesses that I am a patron of, they're still down. They don't have any electricity yet, no power. So there's no way I can just, go into my favorite salon and get my nails done, because, they're not open. So I am going to have to take care of all those things myself, and I'm going to get to it. It's called self-care. I'm going to get to it. But anyhow, I will be, when the tiny studio wakes up from her nap, we're going to go over the ballot together. And when I say go over the ballot together, she told me who she selected for president, the candidate that she chose. And my daughter, the tiny studio the tiny studio assistant, this will be her first year voting. Yes, it will be her first time voting. I am so, so proud of her. And just having, when Kamala came onto the scene, that really affected my daughter. And she was like, oh, okay, I like her. I like what she's saying. I can dig that. I'm with her. And she said, how do I go? She asked me, Mommy, how do I go about registering to vote? And I told her how to, go about it. Showed her, the website that she needed to do, she needed to go to be able to become a registered voter of the state of Florida. And that's what she did. And her ballot came in the mail the other day. And so she was like, I filled out the part about who I'm selecting to be my pick for president. She said, but there's a whole lot of other names that I am not familiar with that I need to know about. And I told her that's fine. So what we can do is we can do a little research together and look up who these people are. Now, there was a name, I think she said, I think it was, what was it? Because it was, for state attorney 13th Judicial Circuit, she already knew from her own research and from what she had seen that Susie Lopez was not going to be her girl. So she told me that this morning. She already picked someone for that slot because she already knew, she had already done some research and heard some things and seen the ads. She was like, oh no, I don't think Susie Lopez is my girl. So that's good. I'm glad that she's paying attention because a lot of people are not paying attention. A lot of people who are twice and 3 times her age are not paying attention to what's going on. So she wants to do some research, which is important because, and I suggest to everyone do that. I suggest you sit down when you get your ballot in the mail, like I did. Sit down and go through it. Go through it and do research on it. And after you do your research, then go ahead and make the decision instead of just marking any old thing or just leaving everything blank because you don't have time to read. Because when you look at some of the amendments, they are pretty long. They're like 2 or 3 paragraphs, right? Like the Constitutional Amendment, Article 1, the amendment to limit government interference with abortion. That's 2 paragraphs, and actually that could have been broken up into 3 paragraphs. That second one. I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, there we go. So here's the paragraph. There's my crazy. Here's the paragraph here, but you see that second paragraph? Now they could have broke that up into 3 paragraphs. That's the literature lady here talking. The English major, the English graduate, writing graduate. Yeah, they could have broke this up into 3 paragraphs. So when you see all this, you see all the reading, and I know people are like this because people don't read, not like they should. People do not read anymore. That's the reason why magazines are going out of business. That's why magazines that used to come out once a month now come out seasonally. That's why newspapers have basically gone out of business, down to the bare minimum. Used to get, I'm going off into a whole different tangent about newspapers because I love newspapers. I worked at several newspapers, so I could truly say that people are not reading like they used to. They're just not at all. So when you see all of this, you see these amendments, and they're 2 long paragraphs. Some people don't even take the time to read them. They don't read them. If they've seen a commercial and the commercial said, vote yes on this, they'll be like, let me go ahead and vote yes, because I'm not reading all this shit. And that's not good. So I want to teach my daughter to read. And then after you read something, if it's something that you do not understand, then you do auxiliary research. You do homework until, and you make sure that your auxiliary research is able to give you the knowledge necessary to clarify anything that you may be unclear about. So that is the important thing about doing research when you are preparing to fill out the ballot for this upcoming election. But I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't tell my children or my husband or whatever who to vote for. I don't want anyone getting the opinion or the idea that I'm telling I'm picking the candidates for my daughter. She's 20 years old. The Tiny Studio Sister is 20 years old, and she graduated from a fine arts high school. So she's pretty much intelligent, and she knows, the dealio. But we will go over the ballot together. And of course, it will be her responsibility as a citizen, a voting citizen of the state of Florida, to make her pick. And it cannot be a pressure type of pick. I cannot do the choosing for her. This has to be something that she does on her own. So I'm very proud of her for deciding that she wanted to exercise her constitutional right as a citizen of the US of A. That is wonderful. But it goes without saying that my daughter and I and my oldest daughter, we will be voting for Kamala. I'm sorry, Kamala. I'm sorry. It's this dreaded, ridiculous English, bastardized English language that has us mispronouncing people's names based on the the pronunciation of the consonants and the vowels and the way that is the English language is structured. It's just it's just crazy. It's just weird, as Tim Walz. It's weird, so I apologize. Her name is Kamala Harris. Sounds much better than Kamala when you really think about it. But yeah, and like I said before, I'm a writer, journalist, in my outside of the tiny studio, in my everyday life, a writing coach, English literature teacher. So when I talk about the English language and how it's been, how Americans have bastardized the English language, that's basically what I mean. I mean that the reason why so many people are having difficulties pronouncing her name is because of the English language as it has been taught to us in this country, because we have so many different words and pronunciations for one particular letter or for one particular noun or consonant. And, we do this thing with our language that is confusing. It's confusing. It's confusing to me, and I was born here. So, anyway, that's what I have on top for today, is to get this ballot done. And so instead of mailing it, I am going to take it to our local drop-off spot, because I want to make sure that the ballot gets there, and I don't have time for no shenanigans. And it's one thing about the state of Florida that I do like, is that they give you a tracking number for your ballot. So I like that, because then I can keep up with where my ballot is and make sure that my vote will count. Okay? All right, so as I said, we're voting for Kamala Harris here. We're voting for VP Harris. Yes, we are, child. Yes, we are. Speaking about the upcoming election, oh my God. I was thinking, I don't like to get dark when we talk about, politics in the United States. I don't like to get dark, because it's really, really easy to go down that rabbit hole and start talking about and thinking about all kind of stuff, that could happen on November 5th. But I want everyone to understand and know this. Please do your research. And at this point in time, when you think about Donald Trump and you think about VP Harris, there's a really big distinction, and it really has nothing to do with Democrat and Republican. It really has to do with character and policies, and do I trust you? And at this point with Trump, I don't trust him. I really don't know what his policies are, and the policies that he talks about, I don't agree with. I don't agree with deporting Haitians who are in this country legally. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the rhetoric about Haitians. I don't agree with any of that. It's ridiculous. I have friends who are Haitians, close friends who are Haitians. I partied with a family of Haitians here in Winter Haven and in Miami. My son, his best friend is half Haitian and half Jamaican. His mother is Haitian, his father is Jamaican. So all of that BS about Haitians eat pets and they're eating the pets. They're eating the dogs and stuff. That's ridiculous. That is some BS. But that's not to say that dogs and the domesticated animals that we in this country view as our pets, that's not to say that in other countries they're not viewed as a delicatessen. A delicacy. That's what I mean. Not a delicatessen. A delicacy. In certain countries and different continents, that is a meal. You know what I'm saying? But to vilify a whole group of people and say that they eat pets, that is ridiculous. And when it came out of his mouth, everyone who said they supported that man, they should have been like, okay, we reject that. And this is the thing that I have, the issue that I have with politics today in America. The issue that I have is we're and it's not just with politics, it's with anything. We have become an all or nothing society. So that means if I like Beyonce, okay, and I discovered that Beyonce has effed up, okay, I'm gonna have to suck it up and still say I love Beyonce and get on the internet and defend her to the oomph of my life. I can't say, oh yeah, Beyonce, she effed up. That ain't good, but I still love her. I still rock with her. You can't say that in this country because it's an all or nothing country. That's how it's become. You can't say, like when Obama the other day said something crazy, about black men, about how black men aren't doing what they aren't voting for women, or are withholding their vote for VP Harris because of W, X, Y, and Z. When he says that, a lot of black men were upset, and they were upset and were very offended. When I heard it, I wasn't offended because I'm not a black man. However, I think that he's been in the comment section and listening and looking at the blogs and vlogs, and so he sees the negativity coming from a certain segment of the black male population, and I believe he was addressing them, but the way it came off as if he was addressing black men as a whole and in its entirety. And before I got a chance to find out all the facts, I was kind of miffed at Obama. And being miffed at somebody that you care about and that you like, it doesn't mean that you are disloyal or that you don't have any type of integrity, or that you're a fake fan. That's not what that means. What it means is that anybody is up for criticism. Anybody. If your favorite musician, like, hey, I'll just put it out there. With Michael Jackson, listen, I love everything Michael Jackson did up until the Thriller album. After the Thriller album, I didn't like anything he did. I didn't like the way his image changed. I didn't like the type of songs he was singing. I didn't like anything. I didn't like anything. I didn't like the videos. What's that one song everybody loved? That Smooth Criminal song? I hate it. I hate that song. Then I didn't buy another Michael Jackson album until Dangerous, and I think that came out in 1993, 92, 93. That was the next Michael Jackson album I bought. And then after that, I fell off again. Because I just did not like the way things were turning out for Michael Jackson. I was critical, and I felt that as a fan, I have a right to be critical of the people that I love. And if it's something that you have screwed up on, then I feel that as a fan, that I have a right to withhold my money and be like, you suck. But a lot of people don't feel like that. A lot of people, like when this Diddy stuff went down, everybody had the people who were strong, super Diddy fans were like, oh, he's innocent. He didn't do this. Cassie lying. Everybody lying. Everybody can't be lying. Okay, there is some truth to that. Okay, and the way he settled that lawsuit with Cassie within 24 hours, because I sure enough was waiting on the trial. But of course, that wasn't going to go to trial because, as we later know, it was a whole lot of stuff going on. A whole lot of stuff going on, a whole lot of stuff that's coming out about Puffy, you know? So it's okay to criticize your favorites. And I think that's the reason why our country has lost some of the morality and some of the, well, I should say some of the moral fiber that kind of was the constant and common thread throughout American life, so to speak. I mean, if you want to be honest about America, you know, America is the land of hypocrisy. But in general, overall, there was always some type of moral sense of what's right and what's wrong, is what I'm trying to say. And over time, that as a culture, we have gotten away from that, and it's become more and more difficult to find find that strand of moral character and moral strength in this country. It's been very difficult because it's just not there, and people aren't criticizing their politicians. You know, you sit there and you elect a politician and then you forget about it and then get mad 4 years later when you say, well, this person didn't do anything. What did they do? They didn't do anything. I elected them to office. They didn't do anything. Well, what did you do? Were you writing emails? Were you calling your congressman or congresswoman? Were you suggesting things? Were you taking an active interest in what's going on? Did you hold their feet to the fire? Did you hold them accountable? If you didn't, then it is your fault as the constituent because you were the one that gave them the job. So it's up to you to be critical of the people that you pay to do a job. You know, it's just like you hire a cleaning crew to come in to clean your restaurant or to clean your home. You can't just sit back and go away for a day or so, or go away for a few hours, allow them to clean your house or do whatever they want to do. And then you come back to the home and things are not the way you want them to be, but yet still pay them and, pay them to come back. What sense does that make? You are in charge. That's your home and you're paying them to do a service for you. So if there are things that you do not like or things that you need to have done, then it's up to you to make that happen. To say, I didn't like the way you cleaned the bathroom. This is how I want the bathroom to be cleaned. And if you have issues with cleaning the bathroom the way I want them to be cleaned, well, then maybe we need to discontinue our contract. It's as simple as that. And that's what politics really is about too. You cannot fill out this ballot. You can't fill out this ballot today, elect somebody, and then 4 years later be like, well, you know what? Tracy didn't do nothing for me. She was in office for 3.5 years, 4 years, 6 years, 12 years, and she didn't do nothing for me. What did she do for me? And because the question then becomes, well, did you hold her accountable when she was in office during those years or those months and years after you selected her to be your representative? Did you hold her feet to the fire? Did you hold her accountable? And if you can say, willa, well then, yeah, no. Then you can't really complain. And that's the thing that's going on right now. Everyone is, instead of holding people accountable and holding people's feet to the fire, what we're doing is we're keeping our mouths shut and we're saying, well, I'm for this candidate right here, and boom, that's it. We're not holding anybody accountable. And that's what I like about VP Harris, is that I can look at her record. I can look at her record when she was in California, as the district attorney and then the attorney general, I can look at her record and I can see exactly what she was doing, how she did her job, what she did as a senator. I could look back at the record and see all of that, and then see what her time has been and what she has done as VP, and then weigh all of that and make a decision. Was VP Harris my first choice for vice president? No. I can't remember, but I was rooting for somebody else. But once she got into that position, I supported that. When Biden selected her and said this, she's going to be the VP, she's my VP candidate, I was for it. I said, okay, I support that. And the same thing with this. Like I said, at this point, it's not coming down to policies per se. It's really coming down to what your moral conviction is. Your moral conviction, and not necessarily the candidate's moral conviction. Because to me, and in my opinion, if you are going to check the box off for Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance, at this point, after listening to Trump yabber on for how many years now? Almost 4 years since he was in office. Listen to him these last few months of him yammering on and talking about all kinds of foolishness. If this is the man that you want to be your president, you have every right to vote for him, but it also shows what your moral character is. It really does. It shows who you are as a person and as an American. And I am not surprised that millions of people are looking at him and they are going to shade in that oval on the ballot, or at the ballot box. They're going to shave it in for Donald J. Trump. And that's because they have their own agenda. They're not going to come out and say, look, Trump, you don't need to be calling people the R word, saying that VP Harris is dumb, stupid, idiot, or my personal thing, that if VP Harris is elected to be president, that the whole country is going to look like Detroit. Say what now? I could not believe it. I could not believe my ears when I heard that, when Trump said that the whole country is going to be like Detroit, be like the D, my home. This country would, child, if this country became like Detroit, if VP Harris is elected to be president, then this country is going to be in for a serious turnaround, because Detroit is on the upswing. And I'm guessing Donald Trump is not a reader. Had he been a reader, he would have known that Detroit is in the top 3 places to live, to do business, to vacation. The D has come back, and it's coming back hard and coming back strong. So it just goes to show you that it's really about character. If you can vote for somebody that can vilify a whole group of people that hasn't done anything to you, that are productive citizens, that pay taxes, if you can vilify them because they are this color skin, melanated, there's something wrong with you. And if you can sit back and say that this is your guy, something wrong with you. Something wrong with you. Something fundamentally is wrong with you. And we're not even talking about the 2 times that he was impeached, Donald Trump. We're not even talking about the court cases that are piling up for him, against him. We're not even talking about the recent case of SA that a judgment was awarded against him. We're not even talking about that. We're just talking about his character within the last, let's say, 6 months. And I would be remiss to say that some of the things that he's been saying lately are very frightening, because he's speaking like a dictator. He's speaking like a future dictator. Some of the key words that he uses are the key words that autocrats use, fascists use, communists use. And I'm talking about Putin. You're gonna use, using the military, turning the military against civilians. That's crazy. That's something Putin would done. That's something that he has done. So I'm gonna be when I get in off, if I win, I'm gonna be a dictator for a day. Did you guys think that he was joking? I didn't think he was joking. Project 2025. People are like, well, he said that he's not going to do that. Yeah, he did. He said that publicly. And then a month later, he's having a whole dinner with the architects of Project 2025. He was heard saying that he can't wait to win the election so that he can implement Project 2025. The dude is a straight up liar. A straight up liar. Lies all day. Gets on TV and lie. Gets mad if you fact check him. And that goes back to what I was saying. If you like somebody, you love somebody, in this country these days, the climate is you can't critique them. You can't say, you know what, friend, that was some bullshit. You messed up. You need to clean it up. You can't say that. You just got to let it ride. That's the type of climate that we're in this country. It's sad, but that's how it is. That's what we're doing in 2024. So I'm going to hop off of here and I'm going to get ready to wash my hair. Yay, it's wash day. And next time you see me, my hair is going to be plaited up. My nails are going to be done. Yes, yes. And the packages that I was telling you about of my depression glass sets, they have arrived. I've already unpacked them. I washed them. The Tiny Studio assistant has broke one. They're glass. We've been doing so. We've reconfigured the kitchen. So because she is a budding baker, and she's doing her thing, I'm a baker, and we're doing our things as bakers. I wanted to create more counter space and more space to dedicate to just baking. So I was at Home Goods today and I was looking for some pastry brushes. I was looking for an additional marble flower board or cutting board. And I really love using marble boards. I don't really like using wood boards because of the cleanliness factor, because sometimes with use and you're cutting and all the other stuff on a wood board, you get those, you get grooves and things cuts into the cutting board, and a wooden cutting board, and next thing you know, you have bacteria growing in there and you're cleaning it, but you're really not able to get down into the groove of it because it's wood, right? And that's why I love marble. Especially, I think marble is really great for baking, especially with rolling out doughs, making breads, and all of those great things. So I already have one marble board. I've had that board now for about 15 years. So I'm looking for another one. But what I'm probably going, that's why I was at Home Goods to see if they had one and if they had a marble rolling pin, but they did not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order it on Amazon, because I'm really trying to extend that whole counter to be a baking area. I even have cabinets that will be dedicated just to our baking supplies. you know, and seasonings and yeast and all of that stuff. I have a place dedicated for where to put the sourdough, our sourdough starter. I have all of that stuff. So it's a lot, but I'm excited because I'm feeling better. I'm losing weight and I'm feeling more confident. I'm feeling strong. So Nell is back. Well, I should say Nell is coming back. Yes, I am. So I want you to have a really good day. I hope that you have, well, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, please go ahead and do so. I'm not going to wait this time because you guys know the drill. If you are new, please think about becoming a subscriber. But before you leave, hit that like button. Thank you so much. And what was it I wanted to tell you guys? So videos drop on Wednesdays and Fridays. There was a video that I posted a few days ago. I believe I did post it on Friday, I think. And it was an old video. I called it Vintage Nail. It was a video that I made before I was starting a YouTube channel, but you know, I really wasn't uploading or anything. So like I should have been doing. But that is an old video, and the name of my channel was going to be Soul to Soul Connections. I was going to be doing all my therapy and stuff. So a lot of you have watched that video and responded, and thank you so much for liking the video and watching it. And if you would like for me to do some more videos, and I've been thinking about really doing, you know, getting into that what did I call it? The soul to soul connection. I was talking about toxic people, toxic relationships. So I'm really thinking about expanding on that. So maybe I'll really start considering posting more videos in that vein. I'm kind of breaking away from a lot of coach stuff and things like that, materialism, because, you know, that's wonderful and great, but I want my channel to evolve, and I want it to be a stronger reflection of who I am as a creative, as a Black woman, as a wife, as a mother, as a grad student, as a therapist. I wanted to reflect more of that. Not that I won't be doing any more coach videos. Of course, I will. But I don't want that to be the focus so much. So I just want to expand on other things and other areas of my life, you know. As you see, I am preparing to redo this whole area. As you see, I've taken all of my vintage Coach bags down. They're in my primary closet, and some of them are in the closet here in the tiny studio room. And so up here now, I just have my books. I have things for school right here. And I have all of my crochet things. As you see, there's some crochet stuff. And my laptop is right there. Oh, there's my nail again. And I'm just going to be organizing the tiny studio to be more conducive to what I need her to be and need her to do. Okay? All right, then. Well, I am out of here. All right, I've yacked enough. So I will be talking to you guys later on Friday. I'll be uploading another video. And I'm getting ready to get out of here and wash this hair. You know, look at it. It's ready. It's ready. The funny thing is it's not dry. Usually when I know that my hair is ready to be washed, it gets a little itchy, it gets dry, it gets itchy, but I haven't had any of those things as of lately, even though I'm a month late in washing her. So my locks are doing pretty good. You're getting super long. I know some of you asked me, what is the discoloration about with my locks? Why are my locks different colors? And I used to color my hair. I used to dye my locks. So I dyed them black. And so what you see here is the residue. And I've dyed it black, what, 3 or 4 times? And that's why it's the color, you know. That's why the colors are like this. Because I was dyeing my hair. I was coloring my hair. I wasn't really embracing the gray or embracing the white. My hair is not gray, it's white. I wasn't really embracing it. I was, doing the Miss Clairol thing. And that's why my locks are, right now, they're brown. They're brown. And as you see, it's been a while since I have, you can see where the color stops. It's been a while since I have used Miss Clairol. My husband asked me about that the other day. Did I want to, do I still have the inkling or the desire to color my hair? I'm like, no. I don't have the desire anymore to do that. I'm just, it is what it is, child. And when you have, my hair grows very quickly. And when you have my situation with my hair, the way that it grows, first of all, with these locks, I'm using about 5 boxes of color on my locks. That's number one. Number two is that usually within 4 weeks, I'm back at it, trying to touch up the roots. So, it becomes like a vicious cycle, and I got tired of it. I got off that merry-go-round, y'all. I got off of that merry-go-round, and I'm cool with my hair looking the way that it does. I'm cool with the white. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm just an old crone. Well, I'm becoming an old crone, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So I will talk to you later. I hope that you had a great Wednesday. I want you to continue to have a great Wednesday. And I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.